Is the great filter an extreme ideational deadlock?
Yes, absolutely. No question. I dogmatically assert that it's what it is. Okay. So the great filter, I think we've talked about it in a previous episode, and I think it had something to do with this concept that why is it so quiet out there? Why can't we find any alien civilizations? Well, maybe as one gets advanced enough, there can be a bunch of different reasons that they die off. So that before we reach the Federation and have interstellar travel and communicate with each other, the civilization, as it was progressing, found some reason or other to fail. Ours, of course, we've discovered it now, and we're meeting it. Right?
Yeah.
This Corvid thing, the super crows are getting a virus, and they're going to outsmart us all.
Yep.
And turn our garbage against us as weapons or something. Isn't that the Corvid-19? That's what that is.
The Corvid-19.
Okay, so if the great filter is like, why did the civilizations die off? Now, is this an ideation? What?
An extreme ideational deadlock.
Okay, so whom is in this deadlock? Let's see, is it extreme? I don't even know if it's all that extreme of an idea. Well, I guess if it's saying everyone must die, every potential spacefaring civilization must cease to exist before it reaches a given level of sophistication. In that sense, it would be extreme. And it's ideational in that we have no empirical evidence about this. It's just a notional thing. It's a proposal. It's a hypothesis. It's random thinking. But I don't know. Let's see. What's the deadlock? The deadlock would be between, what, the Gene Roddenberrys and the Mark Twains? The utopians and the cynics? I don't know exactly how to answer. I'm trying to put the pieces together to be able to come up with an answer.
But this was kind of the point, so that's fun because you've literally heard it. I think different than my poetic sense. You're just like, is this? And I mean, and I kind of.
And that's what I said, but that's not what it.
Yeah, there's no equal sign in between them. It's more of an identity, which I know you don't absolutely hate because you love it, but it's more of an identity thing. Is the great filter, is its identity the thing that we right now call it a great filter, but what is it when we push through the weeds and we're like, oh, what is that thing back there? Is it extreme ideational deadlock? Not is the idea of the great filter an extreme ideational deadlock? Is the great filter what we are talking about, this Robin Hansen guy, we can't seem to get past a certain point or whatever. Is that point we can't seem to get past an extreme ideational deadlock?
See, I construed it differently. Interpreted, yeah. But when you describe it that way, it makes sense. And yeah, that's a good one. I like that as a proposal. Might that be one of the filters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect so. There's many different ways that could play out. Extreme ideational deadlocks, among other things, can lead to bloody noses. And I think they can lead to, instead of interpersonal conflict, when you have international conflict, they can probably lead to wars. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to these advanced civilizations, they can have pretty impressive weapons of war. Most impressive weapons of war on Earth 2020 are still nuclear bombs. Is that right?
I think so.
Probably.
And
they even seem sufficient to end human life on this planet, as I understand it.
Where we just
set enough off.
I mean, there's enough of them, I suppose, that it would just, if that was the project, kill them all. If I can't, it's like, if I can't have her, no one can. Anyway.
So you start from an ideational deadlock, and then you end up in a nuclear war.
I mean, there's a direction for sure. I just want to also say, now that I think about it, I'm not talking about ideological deadlocks or whatever, though. what I'm trying to say is that, it's like a collective overthinking by intelligent beings, whatever, quote unquote intelligent means. Like over a long time, does such intelligent beings, do they get so bogged down with information and acceleratedly sampled details from the world or their world that they can't decide what next step to take and become paralyzed? Like ideas become uniformly distributed as each idea or idea complex becomes supported by just enough individuals, while at the same time more and more information keeps coming into this society. Perhaps this is due to like ecological success and then population growth, things I like to talk about. Imagine it becomes more and more difficult for populations to steer in a given direction until it becomes extremely difficult to make any move or to make a move in any direction. Like is over-regulation and an information logjam a regular result of growth in the collective actions of intelligent beings? Like where it's like there's too many options and everybody's all vying for their, what they think, and if there's a lot of people and there's just a lot of, we have technologies that are making information that wasn't available more available, and so, as we keep adding priors and whatnot, there's always a counter movement, right? There's always people who want to then celebrate the old ways of doing things because there's nostalgia, and then there's the new way of doing things and people wanting to move things forward. And it's like, can you get a whole set of intelligent beings, or whatever you want to call them, to move in the same direction after a while? Or does it just become so oversaturated with all these various ideas that people might be having, jumping on one, jumping off another, all that kind of stuff, that it just becomes impossible to govern? It becomes impossible to get people to move in a direction outside of like total dictatorship and putting a gun to their head or whatever that is. But as, we become more advanced with our, with respect to civilization and technology and all that kind of stuff, do we not sort of potentially move past some of those things anyway? Like for instance, if a planetary civilization did make it past this filter, would they encounter all these ghost civilizations that just ground to a halt, and for some reason there's something about them that was able to get past or whatever? Is extinction of intelligent, quote unquote intelligent things intelligence itself?
Is the extinction of it intelligence itself?
Yeah, does it bring about
inevitable
its own end?
Yeah.
Does it bring about its own end? Because it eventually starts taking in more and more. I kind of think analogy would be like the brain, and how neurologists say might be talking about all the things that are coming at us, but our brain just selects this and this and this, but not everything. It just, it takes in certain things, and maybe there's, a little bit coming on, online at one moment, and then flitting into the next moment is another thing. And, there's a selection process potentially going on. And I wonder if, that's just a way to get through the day, and to survive or whatever. And, what if we start to take too much stuff seriously? We start to accept or find ourselves being skeptical of everything. Like in this day and age with fake news and misinformation and blah, blah, blah. Like imagine that sort of to the extreme, where it's half of it's fiction in terms of, created fictions or whatever, and the other half is stuff that people are trying to put together, like, science or whatever, and you enter more and more into a world where the thought is maybe something slightly in terms of the misconstrual of, say, postmodernism, that everything has relevance, like everybody gets to have their day, and so you're having to, everybody's trying to like vie for, no, we go in this direction, and everybody's going in completely different directions, and you go nowhere,
I think that is what Terence McKenna described as the vulcanization of epistemology, right? When everyone has their own little nationality and we do it this way, and then you cluster and everyone becomes very fragmented and then very internally communal and xenophobic of all other ways of doing, ways of thinking, ways of being. And that could be one way to reach a version of a deadlock, right? If there were 12 ways of going about it and they were all at least similar in power, such that they were able to sustain a competition amongst themselves and a cohesion within.
That would be the uniform, yeah.
That somehow that might lead to a filtering process where that society ends up failing. They grind to a halt or something, that they can't make progress, and then one of the inevitable environmental or natural catastrophes eventually wipes them out because the civilized world falls behind the natural evolution.
Or there might be some that are saying, guys, the environment's going to wipe us out. No, this is what's important, or whatever, some other thing is important. Yeah.
It also reminds me of, I think, what those psychologists or whatever were calling the paradox of choice or whatever, right? Where
sure.
There's more choices and you stand in the cereal aisle and you're paralyzed by the 6 shelves, 12 rows across of all the different brands, and you don't know what you want, and then when you do, after an hour of standing paralyzed in the aisle, select one and take it home, then you regret your choice because you sit down to enjoy your bowl of Fruity Pebbles, and then you say, oh man, I made the wrong, I should have got mini wheats, this is awful.
Or we just flip through the Netflix one movie and where it's like, fuck it, no, I don't want to know, no.
Watching Netflix now means scrolling the titles.
Right. Exactly. And so that's the individual level. What I'm talking about is like, planet-wide. Is that the filter? Is something where it just becomes, and again, not ideological. That's certainly part of all of this and all that. But I'm talking about ideational. Just there just being so many different ideas out there about what to do. About anything in particular,
I guess that's why I went to the natural disasters thing, because just the fragmentation itself doesn't sound like enough to end the species. That could be a problem, but right? You know what I mean? Like, just because we get this ideational deadlock, that in itself doesn't seem to me that it would filter us out of existence.
Well, I guess my question, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but how would you get out of an ideational deadlock once you got into it? Because if everybody's going, no, go this way, no, go this way, how does that stop? How does it not just go on until everyone starves to death?
Well, I don't. Why is it necessary that they would starve to death? I guess, but I don't know why that part would be inevitable.
Because making a decision about, well, we need more food, damn it, and people, no, we don't need more food. It's like, with the chiropractors or whatever, just, being like, well, I'm just, hold your arm up and I'm going to press down on it and have you hold this herb, if you keep pushing down, so this isn't the right herb for you, and people are like, no, this is good. I'm going to go to that. I'm not going to go to the oncologist for my cancer treatment,
Right. But still in that case, it's the cancer or whatever that does come in and wipe them out.
I guess I'm
so some things, but that could be a problem. How do we get out of it? Lots of different possibilities. If we had fractured into 10 different ways of being, and 3 of the ways were worse than the other 7 such that they were wiped out, then maybe there could be a new synthesis that arose some subsequent time.
That's cool.
Maybe there's a charismatic figure who is able to rise above the argument level disputes and appeal to everyone's chimp at some kind of primate level and unite them. Like, oh, well, so you all have these ideational differences, but ideation ain't everything. Let's all be spiritual together, or whatever it is, and they all put their togas on and go to the pyramid.
I like the first one. This one, though, to me sounds like they'd be like, no, let's go over here.
It could go that. I'm just saying it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to, but I'm thinking, like, it seems so... Yeah, anyway, yes.
You could always have the star-bellied Sneetch phenomenon. Either arise or recur at any phase in between.
An authority.
The world itself or the environment in whatever non-human way could evolve along such a track that there was such a surplus that it could afford for the humans to be idiots, for the whatever intelligent species, to do their stupid shit and still persist. Mm-hmm. There could be a technological advance, again, to go to the Star Trek type scenario, they invent the replicator or whatever, like a scarcity removal device. So technology, I think, can still always get us out of stuff. Us or whoever this is. So anthropocentric here.
I know, I tried to make it as non-anthropocentric, but whatever. So quiet out there. It's because all the ideas are being said at the same time. They cancel each other out.
Did you have any ways, or are you just playing the pessimist this time and you're saying, we're all fucked?
Yeah, I guess I'm just playing the pessimist. For anyone who was listening, my thought was that I would just throw out a question and it would just, Harland would just have to react.
No preparation.
And we've been gone for so fucking long. Did we say who we were? Did we even do that, or do you want to do that now? And then
no one knows who we are.
Okay.
No one cares either.
No one cares either. Well, anyway, are you good?
Yeah.
All right. You enjoy this song.